So I think the automotive industry is starting to evolve. We're moving away from the fossil fuels, so we're not going to be using gasoline, leading more towards electrics and hybrids. Right now is the transition. The programs themselves are going to start to change at BCIT. As the industry starts to make their evolution into the electrical side, BCIT as well will follow, as well as other institutes, and they will start to base their training heavily on the electric cars.
Most manufacturers now are going heavily into vehicle electrification. Therefore, you really don't have any specific choices where there's going to be some major leaders anymore. I think it's going to be industry-wide. So reality is, it doesn't matter if you want to go into European or Japanese or domestic market. If you look at some of the manufacturers, Ford by 2022 is going to have most of their vehicle lines also available as electric vehicles. So, you know, that's, when you look at that, that's a major direction shift in the industry at this point.
A lot of people don't understand that the pay scales within the automotive trade. There are set areas that you're inside this box, that's what you're going to be paid. If you're inside this box, that's what you're going to be paid. But it doesn't mean you can't become very good at what you do. Because if you're really, really good at what you do and you have skills above, and I mean like customer service skills, entrepreneurial business type skills, good critical thinking, diagnostic skills, employers will pay you a premium to keep you for those skills. So a strategy I would look at is, first of all, get through your level exams, get your red seal, start taking courses that would add value to your current employment situation. I'll give you an example. Inspector's licensing, that's a good thing to have. Extra courses in diagnostics. There's tons of part-time studies courses available at BCIT and different institutes that will help you with things like diagnosing problems on your car, especially like electronical problems. HVAC, HVAC courses. By adding up all that, business classes, electronic engineering, mechanical engineering, by adding something to it, you take yourself and you become better than the others. And I don't mean to be discriminatory in a sense. What I'm saying is, you have to be the best at your level, and the best at the next level, and the best at the next level. And then you got to be really sought after. And they will do whatever it takes to keep you happy, because 99% of the other people are just part of the system. You need to be that exclusion, not part of the norm.
I would say anything that allows you to have critical thinking skills and diagnosis. In the future, whether they go fully electric, hybrid, more gasoline, etc. and so on, as we add more devices onto the vehicle, oil changes getting stretched out, needing less brakes to regenerative braking, whatever it is, the diagnostic element will still remain. That will always be there. Robots can't really do that very well. We have yet to design a good on-vehicle diagnostic system that tells you exactly what's wrong with the car. It tells you an area, but we still have to do the diagnosing. And that, when I say we have to do the diagnosing, that's you as the future technicians.
The demand for technicians in the Greater Vancouver area is increasing. I think this is for a number of different reasons. First of all, there's a major change in population. The population continues to grow. So as long as there's a population increase in a given area, there's going to be more people driving a car. So we'll see a more of a demand for technicians in the Lower Mainland. I think there's also a other influencing factor that a number of technicians are moving away from the Lower Mainland for the simple fact of cost of living. So the supply of technicians is going down, but the demand is going up.
So there's some recent studies done on this. Work BC actually published some good stuff on this. And they say Lower Mainland, there's going to be a lot of jobs. But again, you got to premise that out. Lower Mainland there's a lot of jobs, but cost of living is really high. The wages are not enough. The cost of living in Vancouver is too high. I would not suggest automotive job for a very long time. Not as a technician. There's some other fields, etc., and so on that we'll talk about in a few minutes. But no, not for the long term. Start off in automotives, get a job as a technician, and then jump off to other things. There's a lot of opportunities for you out there once you get your red seal.
It's good to begin to try all manufacturers. Just don't get pigeonholed in one. Sometimes people just stay in the comfort zones, do one thing. It's just easier, but you don't learn as much that way. So especially at the beginning, starting out, I recommend trying all manufacturers and seeing what way things work differently with different manufacturers, and at least have the experience of that before. You can always go later on to stay with one manufacturer if you want, but it's important at the beginning to get to diversify. You'll learn a lot more at a general shop. Your hands dirty right away. You'll get into different manufacturers. You'll do different things. You do a lot more repairing. So the value in learning, I would suggest, comes at general repair at the beginning for sure. And maybe later on down the road, you could change to a dealership if you want.
Experience. I think the ladder to success is experience. Coming out of this program, you have lots of different opportunities in your life to go lots of different directions, and to go out and get a job with plenty of experience and try lots of different things in industry is the best path forward, I think.
I think it starts out with a good desire to learn in the industry. You need a passion for it, and it's split between schooling and experience. Typically what you need is to take some schooling first, and then once you finish, like say term one, take those learning outcomes that you've just finished and then apply them in the trade. Because once you practice what you just learned, it's much easier to remember and it makes sense, and you can build on it from there.
I think that if I was just graduating this program and I'd never had any experience in the automotive world before, I would be looking for a job where I can get a really broad range of experience so that I can really focus down moving forward into areas that I'm most interested in. I think that in my own training, I did that. I worked at a general mechanic shop and worked on all makes and models, and then I focused in on a manufacturer that I was happy to work with. It was Ford, and it worked out well for me, and I went there as a third-year apprentice. But I would never go back on that. I think if I was to do it again, I would be looking for something where I get a broad range of experience in all makes and models, and some customer service experience and stuff that you get in a broader shop like that, and then focus in on what I really want to work on a specific manufacturer or specific systems like electric vehicles or transmissions or electronics, or if I want to get into management. I think you need to start with that broad range of opportunities in a general shop.
But still get a job as a technician, start off, do that for 5 years, and then at the same time be thinking about what else I could be doing with this automotive skills that I've developed. The skills you develop are applicable in a lot of different areas.
I would jump on more of the technology side of it now, the way things have gone. That's really kind of exploded in that way the last few years, as where, like I said before, sometimes people just sit in one spot because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's not always the best way. You want to keep learning, you want to try different things, especially these days with electric vehicles coming out. You want to try and get on that side of it too and see what that's all about. Maybe taking training on that and try to repair on that side. You want to try everything, electric, hybrids, whatever there's out there. Hydrogen if it comes. You want to keep your mind open to try different things, because something may be great today, but something comes further tomorrow and it's gone. So you want to try them all and have experience in whatever comes your way.
So for myself, I think I would probably spend a little bit more time in the electrical side now. I'm more partial to the computer side of things. I always have been. That's always been an interest for me, which is why I do a lot of the tuning. For me, that's interesting, right? It's a lot of troubleshooting. So a student being able to spend some time to identify and troubleshoot vehicles, I think that would be a strong suit for them, absolutely. Everybody can do brakes, everybody can do suspension, right? It's only a few people that can actually do diagnostics and R&D.
Well, I would definitely try and get into some form of a dealership. When I went through my apprenticeship, I ended up working in the aftermarket for a few years, and then I migrated over into a dealership. That transition was very difficult to make at the time because dealerships wanted you to have dealer experience. And being in the aftermarket, you've kind of pigeonholed yourself into the aftermarket. That just because you're at the point of graduating from this program, your training isn't over.